Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at set number 77239, the Porsche GT3RS from the Speed Champions line. It's a set that I've been wanting to get my hands on for a while. Now, right out of the gate, I'm going to be honest, when I heard this set was coming out, I was really hoping that it was going to be in that gorgeous, iconic lava orange that Porsche is known for. But now that I have it in hand and it's yellow, I've got to say it works. It's vibrant, it's punchy. It honestly makes the model stand out on the shelf, though that's something that I've noticed with a lot of the Speed Champions. They've picked those bright colors and it has been really nice to see consistency across that. Overall, this is a strong addition, still in that 8-stud wide family. It feels premium, it looks sleek, it matches the shape of the real Porsche GT3. So I'm definitely feeling like they've done a good job with the design on this one. And I know that it's one of those builds that you're going to appreciate how far LEGO has come from those old 6-wide and 4-wide designs that we get in other themes and the old Speed Champions theme as well. The set's 348 pieces, and if we look at its cost, it is $39.99 AUD, $26.99 USD, and $22.99 British pounds. When we're talking value for money, it's a tough sell at full price. For under 350 pieces, while you get a good size car, that Speed Champions line is really pushing the price up every year. It's a little bit more expensive, and it feels like the sort of one that you're definitely looking at for when it's on sale rather than at full price. Thankfully, a lot of retailers will have decent discounts up to that 20% off, and there you can see it's starting to push from the maybe category into the worthwhile purchase for either yourself or for a gift for someone. Now let's do a deep dive into the car itself. Since LEGO moved to the 8-stud wide chassis a few years ago, the Speed Champions line has gone up in detail. The model designers have been able to really capture the shape of the Porsche 911 in this model. When you compare it to the real model, the shaping is really almost spot on. My main gripe comes down to the shaping around the headlights. It ends up being a little bit flat from the side profile, and with the introduction of those new pieces, it's meant that they could get a little bit more of that nose shape. However, it's a shame that within the limits of creating a stable model, we couldn't have a little bit more of a rounded headlight. The big win here is with the prints. I love that LEGO is choosing to print on curves. It means we're not fiddling around with stickers. We have the headlights and then the Porsche logo on the nose on the cheese slope. And then if we rotate the car around, you can see with the Porsche branding along the back, along the red headlight, done on the thin plate with the GT3RS sticker below it. Much cleaner, much neater than having to try and fiddle around with a sticker. Speaking of stickers, there are definitely fewer here than on the F1 full racing car liveries that we've had recently from Speed Champions, which is a relief. And I love the inclusion of some of the small details like the fuel tank sticker. It's a small, tiny detail, but it adds so much to the overall display of the model. However, in saying that, the color matching is a bit of a letdown. Consistently, LEGO stickers are still noticeably warmer than the bricks, which is leading to having just a discrepancy when you look over it. And so I've chosen to leave off the GT3RS side stripes from the door panels. I think the car looks cleaner without that mismatched yellow stripe, and it means that I'm going to get more joy out of this display. Moving on to our driver. He's rocking a classic red Porsche Test Track race suit. The torso has sharp, clean line printing with Porsche track experience written there on the torso in white. However, I was disappointed to see that there's still zero leg printing for these figures. It's a little detail for this price point that would really elevate the figure. Likewise, only having a single face print for when the helmet is off is good, but it would have been nice to see a print that has a microphone print on it for when that helmet's on, just to give a bit more of that race track experience. It's so good to see that yet another Speed Champion set also allows the figure to actually fit in without popping the roof compared to some of those older sets. The low profile chassis allows the figure to sit perfectly with either hair or helmet without that roof, making that tilt forward like it's done in the past. So what are my final thoughts on the Porsche Speed Champions 911 GT3RS? It's a fantastic looking model. The yellow has won me over. It's great. I think the printed curves and the overall shaping of the car is fantastic. The build experience is what you're looking for. It's not too complicated on the end of Speed Champion sets, but it's still clever with some of the piece connections and very rewarding. At the very least, worth looking through the instructions if you're not going to pick it up. However, for $39.99 AUD, there are some things that we're looking for. The color matching on the stickers definitely is a holdback, along with some of the shaping around the front end. However, if you're a Porsche fan or a Speed Champions collector, it's definitely a worthwhile set to add to your collection, but maybe just try and snag it on sale if you can. I know that I'm going to cherish having it on my shelf on display. Well, those are my thoughts on the Speed Champions set. What are yours? Drop a comment down below, and I'll catch you in the next review.